Big announcement coming out for the San Diego Padres. The opening day lineup gets a little bit more clarity. With the announcement that Luis Arraez is going to be the full-time first baseman, we're going to talk about all of that and what it means to the San Diego Padres this season on another episode of Padres Digest. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Christian Pedersen, your host. Also the guy here to pester you and remind you that we need to be smashing that subscribe button directly below me. We need to turn this chart around. I know we're a new channel, but we need you guys to help us flip this from more subscribed to non-subscribed on every single view. It also just puts out good vibes into the universe that it helps us beat Dodgers Digest in terms of total numbers of subscribers, our enemy channel Up the 5 Freeway. Okay, guys, Luis Arraez has been announced by the Padres front office as being the primary first baseman this year. What does that change for us? Existentially, this is not necessarily like big breaking bombastic news, but I think that this sets up the Padres very nicely this season. I think this is a fantastic decision, and I think announcing it just helps the Padres focus in a little bit more in terms of what the mission is, having clarity on operations this year. Going from last year's team to this year's team, we have much less platooning, much less rotating, much less changing pieces in and out day-to-day basis. And I think Luis Arraez taking that full-time first base spot is fantastic. If you look at the numbers for him, offensively speaking, he is one of the most consistent contact hitters in all of baseball and the kind of guy that you want to say, hey, we're going to get him as many at-bats every single day as possible. So what's the difference then in terms of getting those at-bats between him DHing and him playing first base and him sneaking in a game at second or doing anything else of that sort? This up here does not show his defensive rankings and metrics. He's an okay fielder. He's never been somebody who's been, having the glove be his primary featured or coveted tools. He is very much a hitter. He's an offensive production guy. So moving him over to first base last season was not a net negative for the Padres. If anything, maxing out the season with the ideal lineup of Manny at third, Xander at short, Jake Cronenworth at second, Luis Arraez at first, and then having the DH spot be Eguy Rosario and Connor Joe or Jason Hayward and some other guys like that figuring it out in a revolving door or a trade. Like just having the DH spot be the one that can wiggle every game, I think helps the Padres maintain an identity and helps get guys consistency in their game. And that is not something that pops up on these metrics like routine, habit, consistency, not quantifiable even in the modern day sabermetric game. But you can make a big case that a lot of times baseball players just need to get in that rhythm, get in that flow. And I would argue that having one of your best contact hitters up in the top third of the lineup every single game is great, but also having him just know that this is his position. He's going to play first. He's going to have his X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, to stay in that rhythm and routine that helps him maximize his I got to say zen, his flow, his chi, his whatever the existential word is. And you can drop a comment below if you think I'm just an absolute crackpot. But I don't think I am. Even in the modern analytic, flip a guy from righty to lefty and have all this, move him here, move him there. Even in all of that shifting, sometimes what cuts through is guys just need to know what their job is and go do it and have the lack of a manager looking over your shoulder being like, hey, if you're not up to snuff here, we're going to slide you to hitting seventh and move you out to left. And we don't really know where, like, we saw this a lot with Wil Myers, I think is the prime example. The Padres wanted to get Wil Myers in the lineup, but they could never really guarantee Will, okay, you're our guy in left. You're our guy at first. It was just, we want you in there, but we can't quite identify what you are. And maybe this is addition by subtraction in losing Ha-Sung Kim, in losing Jurickson Profar, in losing some of those other guys that allows some solidity, and it also requires some solidity. Necessity being the mother of invention. This is us moving Luis Arraez to first base because we don't have a ton of other options. But I think that all in all, this is good news because if you go back to what I showed you right up here at the top of this, the look for the opening day lineup for the San Diego Padres, I think is fantastic. I think this is a great team that we are talking about having absolute, like that team has a shot with that order specifically. If you run that out there for 120 of the 165 with the other 40 to 30, whatever, 120 to between 150. I'll even lower it, between 115 and 135. If we can get that out of this lineup, with the rest of that being some sort of permutation of a guy's going to have a bumps and a bruises and a need for a sit and a this, that, and the other, and someone's going to get hot and someone's going to get, like, a little bit of flexibility. But if we can absolutely maximize that for something close to 2/3 of the season, I think the San Diego Padres are in, like, the driver's seat, yes, but I think that we are absolutely the number one wildcard team. And that all starts because this guy right here, maybe not all starts, but we get one step closer to that because this guy right here is going to be able to play first base, be in the top 2 or 3 spots in the order every single day, and just be able to put the blinders on and go to work and hopefully earn himself a big-time contract. That, though, is going to be something for a whole nother video for a whole nother day. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like I said at the top. But also drop a comment. Let me know what you think on Arraez. Is there a better option for him? Is there a better option at first? Or are we onto something here with him taking over the full-time first baseman duties? I think he could be an all-star first baseman. Why not? Have him hit 320 to 340 by the all-star break and him at first base? Well, let's do it, Padres. Let's roll. Let's admit that the Dodgers are fantastic. The Dodgers are great, but we're not scared of them, and we're going to roll the ball out there and play some baseball. Less than 40 days, just over a month from the time of us recording this until the first game of the season. And I think that the news on today's roster taking shape is fantastic for the San Diego Padres this season. We will see you guys on our next video. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you later.